Good at it now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Call this meeting of the College Council our first meeting of the 23-24 academic year to order. And we do have a quorum, which is good because we have a few things we have to vote on today. The first order of business is approval of the minutes from our last council meeting. Minutes were sent out by Katie to everyone previously. I assume you had a chance to read them, look at them.
Harold's not here, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, Rich makes a motion to adopt the minutes as submitted, seconded by Jeff. Any discussion? Additions, subtractions, corrections, hearing none. All in favor of the minutes being adopted as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The chair's report. I have a brand-new knee. Well, soon to have a second one at the end of November. So I should be good for another 50 or 100,000 miles. I know that makes some people very unhappy to hear that, but I'm still here and I'm still moving. It's good to see everybody, and thank you all for coming. I've heard some very positive feedback about our new president, which I shared with her, and that people are, I'm not going to say surprised, but they're pleased to see that she is a real person and very approachable and very easy to talk to. So those are some very good things. And I'm assured that Suzanne's husband, Brett, their son, Sam, and 5 dogs have all settled into their new accommodations. And thanks to the building and maintenance people for installing the dog door.
Yes.
And Suzanne said that when she opens the door, the dogs go right down to the river.
Yeah.
They didn't have that option where they lived previously, so they're doing very well.
Yes.
And Sam is enjoying his time and his work,
Yes.
and Brett is Brett.
That's a perfect summary.
No, he's also very approachable and very fun-loving and very people-oriented.
Yes.
So we think it's a good fit,
Thank you.
and we hope that we continue. We were all very pleased with the short memo that the president gave us yesterday, talking about the enrollment. And I have been particularly pleased with the president's new initiative about giving out the challenge
Yeah,
coins
that was popular.
to the incoming freshmen. It's something to really make people feel part of.
Thank you.
And it will also be a very nice thing if you happen to be one of the people that gets a coin from one of the students saying that you made a difference at the college in their lives. So it's a good tradition,
Thank you.
and it's become very popular that everybody now is like, well, where's my coin? So
Yes,
we're trying to figure out what might happen,
that's right.
particularly with this year's seniors. So, stay tuned. There's lots of movement still on campus. Our new CFO officially starts October 2nd. So we're looking forward to welcoming him to our campus. The president's very high on the new CFO, and said that in addition to his interview, he was the top-ranked candidate all across campus in the various meetings that were part of the interview process. So we think it bodes very well. And it also bodes very well that we were able to hire the person We've had one emergency hire in SOPAS, where, as you can see, the graduate numbers are exploding with a limited number of faculty to do the teaching. So we are very appreciative of the president and the provost for helping facilitate that hiring.
Sure.
I don't think I have anything else to report at this point, so I'm going to, if anybody has any questions, you know where I am. And you know I'm not bashful, so ask away. But in the interim, I will turn it over to our president, Suzanne Smith.
Thanks, June. So just a few things to add to the report that you received. As June said, we're very excited to welcome our new CFO, Brent Parker. He's coming to us from Sarah Lawrence College in Bronxville, New York, and has over 20 years of education higher ed experience. He's actually attending a SUNY meeting before he even starts with us, and just very excited to have him here. I think he's going to be a great addition to our staff, and the timing is good, right? With all the budget issues going on, it will be made much easier having a CFO on board, so I'm very excited about that. Budget update you have in here. We were very fortunate to receive from SUNY $3.6 million in the support that was given to them from the state system. Part of that is a transformational grant, 1.13 million, and you can see in here what we're doing with that. And the other is ongoing to our budget, which we're very excited about, particularly from my perspective, the $250,000 in mental health support. That continues to be a need on our campus and frankly every campus in the United States right now. Still dealing with the post-COVID repercussions, I guess you could say. And so will be, the things that we're going to be able to do with that money will be incredible for our student population. So I'm very excited to see that and certainly appreciate the states and the SUNY system support for that. The financial stability plan, as you may or may not know, we have a campus meeting coming up on September 19th at 10 o'clock. It'll be held in Snell, and you certainly are all welcome to attend that if you would like. It will also be live streamed, and it will be sending you a link a day or two before that meeting takes place. I'm also excited that Chancellor King has accepted my offer to attend that meeting in person, so he will be here on campus that day for that meeting as well. And so that will be, he's been very supportive throughout this process, and I appreciate his willingness to come and be present and supportive on that day as well. So that meeting will talk about the ideas that we have to cover our $9 million structural deficit. We'll talk about any thoughts about program discontinuation, changes to our blueprint. Basically, we'll be providing a roadmap for how we can move forward. It's no longer sustainable to carry a deficit like that. It's not in our best interest, frankly, to carry forward with that kind of a deficit. And so it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed now. I'm confident that we have a plan that will lead to success and that will help our college continue to thrive into the next couple hundred years. And so look forward to having that session and to being able to then have conversations on our campus with our faculty and staff. That will be, I'm excited to have those opportunities after the 19th. So happy to answer any questions that you might have about that. It will certainly be a painful process, but it's a necessary process a necessary process to ensure the longevity of our campus. So if you have people asking you questions about that between now and then, you can certainly feel free to send them to my email, president@potsdam.edu. Happy to answer any questions that they might have before or after that time. So that's a general overview, but any questions about that before I move on? Yes, sir.
Real quick, does the state give you a time schedule to start eliminating the deficit? I mean, are they putting a...
Sure. So it's a 5-year plan. It's a 5-year plan. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to give you 5 years?
5 years, right.
How does the, if they gave us 3.6 million, does that decrease the deficit or doesn't do a thing?
Doesn't do a thing. So those monies were not allowed to be used for any campus to cover structural deficit or to compensate for positions that will be lost as a part of this process. All new monies to be used in new ways.
Well, you're going to have a fun 5 years, I think.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
But I feel like we have the right team in place at the right time. I feel like we have support of people like you, which will make all the difference, frankly, in the world to us. We have an amazing alumni and foundation board that are on our side and ready to help and support, and I'm confident that we'll be able to be successful.
Good.
Is the foundation or any other agency or department allowed to donate to relieve this deficit, or?
So it's a structural deficit, so getting let's say, for example, if you decided tomorrow you want to give a $9 million donation, I would happily accept that check.
I can give you the check.
You can only bounce once.
But this is a year after year deficit, so one-time funds would certainly help over the course of a year, but would not help over the course of a lifetime, if that makes any sense. So we would certainly put those funds to great use, but we would then need you to give us a check the next year for $9 million. Yeah.
This is really on your first topic about budget.
Sure.
Like, students have had a lot of struggles with mental health support on campus and accommodation support. So I think those are really two great
Absolutely.
things to have in the budget, because that is a huge complaint.
Yes.
So I'm really proud to see that.
Thank you. And it's interesting, I mean, in those areas, actually, on our campus, we're pretty well staffed for a campus our size. I have to say, I was impressed when I came here with the quality of our facilities, with the quality of the staffing and the number of staff that we have in that area. But it's just not enough anymore. So, I mean, we're meeting national standards, but it's not enough. So thanks for pointing that out, Kylie. I appreciate that.
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Just with, in the beginning there of the 1.8 million in additional operating funds and then the list of stuff underneath it, intentionally maybe it doesn't add up to the 1.8 million, but are there, is everything else just kind of nickel and dime in other programs, and these are the big ones that you're pointing out?
That's
Is that-
right,
Is
yes.
that the fact? Okay.
And we were given, when the budget was given to us in this area, we were given these dollar amounts for these categories. And so that's where these numbers came from, and then the rest just kind of filters in.
Sure.
It's a good question.
And then on the deficit, as a newer member of the council.
Sure.
To have that number dropped and to see it be so big, I would have the question as a council member,
Sure.
how did it get that big? What were the factors of it? Was it bad decisions? Was it COVID? Is it enrollment? A combination of all? But I kind of
Sure.
would like an explanation, if I could, knowing that you're here to take care of it and that you're new as well.
Sure. I'd say a lot of it is based on the fact that we are still staffed for a campus of about 4,200 students, and our enrollment is about 2,500 students. So our enrollment continued to decline, and while our staffing did change according to attrition, it didn't change strategically or at the same rate and pace. So a large bulk of it is related to enrollment. Certainly COVID didn't help, but COVID saw an influx of federal dollars as well, which allowed us to plug some holes there for a while. So it's not fair to say that this is a COVID related, because these issues started more than a decade ago. Declining enrollment is the largest factor on that. And then just strategy on how you use your funds.
So help me out here a little bit, because
Sure.
how do you identify a structural deficit versus a deficit? I mean, what is,
Sure. So structural deficit means year after year. So if we had a $9 million deficit, Steve could write me a check, and then we would be back in balance. Structural deficit means I need to find $9 million every year to be balanced in my budget. Does that help?
I gotcha.
And then my final question with it, again, as a newer member.
Sure. To make me be a better council member, what changes
need to be made, or what is different in order to make sure that it doesn't happen again, or that it's being taken care of? Is it a plan of more transparency, as
Yes.
you have promised? Is it better questions from me as I sit here? What is the advice, or what is the fix moving forward?
Sure.
Because I have a responsibility sitting in this chair.
Sure.
Of looking at something like this and saying, okay, that's not right. I want
Sure.
to make sure it doesn't happen.
And I appreciate that. I think it's a number of things. First of all, it's a reimagining of our campus. And so I think we have historically placed a lot of our hopes for a balanced budget on returning to 4,200 students. And so we've built budgets around that. That's not realistic. We have the enrollment cliff coming up. We'd have some, fewer students who are college age. And in today's climate, we have fewer students that want to go to college for whatever reasons. So we're kind of reimagining our campus as a campus of 2,500 stable students, fluctuating up to 3,000. And that vision allows you to budget in a different way, right? So we're no longer budgeting for 4,200 students, we're budgeting for 2,500 students. So it's being more realistic about your budget and the money that you have coming in through enrollment. We can't count anymore on having large growths in our budget based on enrollment. So we're being more realistic about that.
And transparent.
And transparent 100%,
Yeah.
and 100%.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Once we have the meeting on the 19th, my comments from that meeting will be available online. We'll have a Q&A set online for you. I'm happy if this group would like to have a listening session with you to answer any questions that you might have as you talk to the people that you work with. We're happy to set that up if that's something that you would like as well. I want people to understand how we got here and how we're getting out. And I tend to be a forward-thinking person, so a lot of my time is being focused on how we're getting out of this. This campus has so much to offer. It has a lot of promise. It has a lot of hope. It's true, and it's not just a tagline for us that this is a special place. It is a special place, and because of that, we're doing everything that we can to ensure that we keep the qualities that are important to us, but do it in a way that's fiscally responsible and that's more representative of the campus that we are and not the campus that we used to be. So that means we're working on our strategic plan right now, for example. So that strategic plan will help guide our use of resources moving forward. We'll be able to pinpoint as a campus and as a community what's important to us, and that helps us decide where our resources go, and helps us make some of those tough decisions moving forward about what we do and we don't invest in. I've spent a lot of time talking with my cabinet and then with their cabinets about higher ed in general. We tend to say, okay, we don't have the money to do this, so we're not doing that anymore, so you take this over. It's very uncommon in higher ed to say, we just don't do this anymore, but we have to do that, right? I mean, I can't keep burdening my faculty and staff with the jobs of 3 people. It's not realistic, it's not fair, and it's not good for your health, frankly. So that's another thing that we're doing with our strategic planning is what do we give up to do what we find to be the most important? What are those elements that make us special? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And how do we measure that, and what programs does that mean? And so that's our focus now, figuring out what it is that makes us special, and that's where we invest our time and our money. Our student experience won't change except for the better. What we promise for them and what we do for them won't change, because that's who we are. That's what we are here for, right? So that's one of the purposes of our strategic planning, is to figure out what is our why and what does that look like, and then how do we invest in that to make sure that that's what our experience is.
Does your plan have to be approved by the state?
The strategic plan?
Yes.
No. I mean, I just said that, but I'm going to say no.
They might want to look at it, though.
I'm happy to share it. And it's actually, there's a website now you can go look. We have a website up that talks about the process that we're following and what our timeline is. We did I thought it was an amazing opening session here the week before classes started. We spent a couple hours together as a campus community. we talked about what our values are, what are the traditions that are important to us, what are the things that, and we did a little visioning, 5-10 years down the road, how do you answer the question Potsdam is, or here's what's most important to me, or here's what we're known for. We're in the process of gathering all that information. That'll be available online for you as well. We have a strategic planning committee that has a wide representation on it, including someone from Foundation, someone from alumni, and so that information will all be available on the website. So it's a very open, inclusive process, and we will have things posted online as we go throughout the process. But the opening meeting I thought was great because we had just tables of people talking about this place that they love and why they love it and what makes it special. And then we had a group conversation, and it was at times open and honest and raw, I will say. It was vulnerable, but it was necessary, right? We needed to come together as a campus and have these difficult conversations to remind ourselves why this is so painful. And so I actually thought it was a great session. People were excited about creating a vision together. And so that's kind of how we're going to move forward. Any more questions about that?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Happy to help. I'll do a few more happy newses. Happy newses, whatever. Enrollment is a happy news report for us, as June pointed out. As of this morning, we were still up 3.11 and first time, 3.11 overall in enrollment. That's the first time in a decade that we've been in an increase. Very excited to see that. That's because of a lot of hard work. Office of Admissions, obviously, but all across campus, I will say, faculty, staff, students are doing their best to go out there and recruit our students. We're down about almost 6% in undergrad, but up 57% in graduate programs. I think a lot of this push, frankly, is moving our graduate education programs online. And as June said, they are just bursting at the seams. Ellen can attest to that. But they're being troopers, and we will continue to see growth in this area, quite frankly. This is just, we had thought we would see some of this growth next year, but that it's already happening is a sign of the built-up need for this type of programming. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see. The Presidential Challenge coins, June also mentioned. I brought one to pass around for you to look at. So this is a coin that we gave out at orientation for all our new incoming students. The idea of it is that, first of all, the students have to keep up with it for 4 years, so that's the challenge part of the coin. And in their senior year and their last semester, typically, we ask that they give it to someone who has made a difference in their lives, someone who has impacted their ability to be successful in their career, their college career, their future career. I've been on campuses that had this concept before, and I still get choked up thinking about when I got my first coin. It's very meaningful. It's a powerful token. It seems so small, but yet it's very powerful because students have one. And if they choose you, out of every faculty, every staff, every friend, every community, every campus member, then that's a powerful symbol, right? So we're just teaching students that this is our value. Our value is to say thank you. Our value is to say you've made a difference in my life. Our value is to show appreciation. And that because of that, we're giving them a way to show their appreciation for someone else who's made a difference in their lives. And then at graduation, they'll receive this coin in our Potsdam Red. So they have it as a token to take with them to remind themselves of the Potsdam Pledge, excuse me, the values that we hold and the time that they had here on our campus. So I'm excited about that. Kelly and I are meeting next week, I think, to talk about, I'm already hearing buzz from seniors about.
Even just like sophomores and juniors and seniors, they've all been like, I want a coin. Like I wanted something at my new student welcome.
I know. So I am thinking about, and I want to talk to Kylie and student government about what their thoughts are about maybe next semester, the week of the inauguration, giving the seniors a coin to pass out in their last few weeks on campus. But I didn't anticipate having to figure this out, but I'm super happy, honestly, to have this problem to figure out. It's not a problem, it's an excited opportunity. I'm happy that it's caught on in this way. So look forward to conversations with you, Kali, about how we can do to make sure people feel like they're a part of this opportunity. And then, lastly, I guess I'll just say, we've already talked a little bit about the strategic planning process. Sorry, one of my goals is to help increase community interaction between the campus and the community, locally and regionally. And so one of the things that we'll be doing is having, I was going to say listening sessions, but town halls or focus groups, we'll call them focus groups, how about that? Focus groups around the region with business owners, important partners in our region to talk about, you know, what is it that you need that we can help you with? What are things that you're not getting from us? What are ways that we can partner together? I really think the most vibrant campus is the one that has the community members on it on a regular basis. What are things that we can do to bring you to our campus? We have the benefit of Crane that brings in a lot of community members to their just exceptional performances, but there are other things that we could be doing, right? And what are some of those things? Are there areas that in our workforce that we have a lot of room for growth, but they don't have people to fill those jobs? Is there a way that we can build a degree program or a micro-credential or a minor that could help meet those workforce needs? So these are the kind of conversations that we're going to be having over the next few months in our community. It's really important to me. We are too small to not have a good relationship with our local community and within our region. And so if you have ideas as a council about people I should be inviting to these roundtables or things that need to be included, I'm certainly open to your ideas. That would be helpful for me as well. And then finally, my reflections. June covered a lot of it. We are very, no, it's totally fine. We are very happy here. My husband and I are feeling very settled. I was telling June that Sam is working on campus and very happy. He's used to having to, walk a little over a mile to work, and now sometimes I'll hear the alarm at 6:30 and I'll hear the feet running out the door at 6:56 for a 7 o'clock start, and he's thrilled about that. So everyone's been very friendly and warm and welcoming to him, and he's thriving here, and so I can't thank you enough for that. My husband and I are loving it here. We love having so much in our area that we can do. We sometimes after work, if I've had a rough day, we'll grab a couple dogs, and in 5 minutes you can be on an incredible hiking trail. You can be going through the forest. You can be walking along a river. You can be looking at a waterfall. It's just being surrounded by such beauty has been a refreshing part of our life, and we're very grateful for that. And then the campus community and working with people like you, I can't state enough how important that is to me. We're able to do what we do because of our community, and so I thank you for the way you've supported us in our brief time here, and we hope to be here for a long time to come. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Has anybody told the dogs they won't be able to swim me around in the river out back?
No.
This will be a little bit of a difference from where they came.
It is. We're coming up with a plan for our safety now because at the current time when we open the doors, if there's no leash, they know they're water bound, and they go, and they're swimming for 10 minutes before we can get down there. We don't know what we're going to do when they can't swim anymore because I fear I will be dragged along the ground for a couple acres.
Well, there might be times when they can walk on water, so.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll be fine.
It's that in-between time that's dicey.
So we are coming up with the personal safety plan at this point to figure out how to get us all through that transition. But I will tell you in February, and you're all welcome, we're going to be having sledding at the President's house because that hill is, I imagine, a great sledding hill. Good steepness to it, nice long slopes. So we're very excited about having the students and the campus community over for sledding, and I can promise you'll have at least one, if not 3 dogs on the sled with you or running next to you. So we think they'll figure it out.
Any other questions, comments? Will there be hot chocolate for the
Of course.
Okay.
I just have a comment. It's been really great on campus to see President Smith at events. Like, I've just been on this campus, I'm a senior this year, and like seeing a president at an event is just so impactful. And like, the first year I was here was COVID, and then we really didn't have a solid president. So it's been really great to see her at events. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And I have no other students have been like, that's the president? Like, why is she here? She's at karaoke. Like, that's awesome. Like, I don't know. It's just been great to see you out and about and like
Thank you.
see students excited to see you. It's been great.
Don't worry, Will, I did not sing at karaoke.
Oh,
I just.
say I'll show up with a camera.
Yeah. Thanks, Kelly, I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you very much. So
Sure.
now we will move on to our reports. And first up is our interim provost, Alan Hirschberg. How's the farm doing, by the way?
It's good. It's very good. Well, I had to give up milking early. It's too much between milking and work. Actually, work had to win. So.
One
it's good
pays
seeing you
more
all.
than the other.
Yeah, exactly. It's good seeing you all. The report has, as usual, some highlights from academic affairs, and I would encourage you all, if you would like to have more fun, interesting stuff, and definitely reach out to the three deans. Reach out to me. There's lots of good news to share with you. We'd be happy to do so. President Smith mentioned the SUNY New York State incremental funds that we're receiving, and I just want to follow up with a couple academic affairs related remarks on those. It was really, really gratifying to see SUNY's and New York State support for our campus. This is a clear sign of reinvestment and their confidence in our future. The monies are in academic affairs are going to have some really impactful repercussions. We're going to be bringing back an internship coordinator as well as a career counselor, which are two positions that we've not had on campus for a while. And they're going to be housed in the Lougheed Learning Commons. We're going to be able to provide improved services for our students with disabilities, which is amazing. This population is critical. That we support them in the ways they need. And it's also going to, and I think Suzanne mentioned this, it's going to allow our campus to implement the Accelerate, Complete, Engage Comprehensive Academic Support Program. The acronym is ACE. It's a CUNY-developed program which has actually seen double-digit increases in retention on campuses that have implemented it. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be serving 150 students, and we'll roll that out in fall of 2024. Over the summer, and this I think in part addresses Jeff Cole's question about how do we make sure we're not in this position again financially. I've been working with the deans to meet with department chairs and program coordinators, and we've been reviewing our academic programs and setting goals for those programs. We've developed some key performance indicators, and what we're doing is focusing on increasing revenue and decreasing expenses. This regular assessment and evaluation of programs is critical to making sure that we keep our academic portfolio relevant, that we're providing majors that are going to appeal to today's students and their families, and that we're preparing our graduates for successful careers. So a lot of this is about aligning needs with offerings. Some other big summer news, and if you weren't here, you missed our first Crane Youth Music group in many years. So thanks to Dean Gibbons and to his staff for making those students welcome. We had 150 middle and high school students here on campus. It was great to see them back. Week of music making, educational programs, social activities. It was a lot of fun. It was really good to see and to hear them. Finally, I think President Smith's challenge coin shouldn't just extend to our students. So I wanted to take an opportunity to, on behalf of Academic Affairs, to thank the College Council. I think Suzanne mentioned this, but all of you, I want to make sure that all of you know how much we appreciate your wisdom, your insights, and your support of academic affairs. We may only see you a couple times a year, but you are part of the Potsdam family, so thank you for what you do. And always happy to answer any questions now or at provost@potsdam.edu.
Questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll hear from Dr. Richardson Malizio about our diversity, equity, and inclusion. She's been very busy, by the way.
Yes, she has.
It's a good busy. Good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to be here with you this morning. I wanted to share with you, really continuing the conversations we've been having this morning, how important our students are to us. Really, it's the undercurrent of everything that we do. There are the who and the what and the reason why we exist. And the good part about that is that our students know that. And I think I want to share just a bit of evidence of that, because people don't return to places where they haven't had good experiences. And we know how active our alumni are. On August 24th, we welcomed over 400 new students to our campus. And on that stage was one of our alumni, right? Khalees Nunes. I want to make sure I have his name right. And he spoke about how this school meant so much to him, how his experiences in the various leadership roles, the different activities, prepared him for a field that he didn't know he was going to want to participate in. He left. He's a residence director at the college where he serves, and it was actually check-in day. But we called him, and he was here. He made whatever arrangements he needed to do and left around 5 in the morning the next day to get back to his campus, to his duties. And not only is he doing that work because of the experiences he has had here, but he is also now completing his master's in education and has such wonderful and inspiring things to share with our students. When we met in the spring, we met Lejka Hernandez, who is one of our seniors. She is now at Hunter College getting her master's in social work. You also, on that day, met Imani Reed. She is exploring her graduate school options, but interesting, you know, it's the story that they tell and how they share the experience that matters so much to us. On check-in day, she was part of a caravan of 3 cars of family members bringing a cousin over to this campus. And it was a really exciting time for all of them. And it was very much because they were following her footsteps and they had learned about her experiences. And again, just 1 or 2 more names here. When we had a position opened in our STEM program, which is our sciences program, we were able to hire an alumni who left the field of science to come and serve here as one of our camp counselors. So Ashley Ortiz Rivera, another graduate alum of Potsdam, is now serving our students, and I cannot tell you about all the traffic to her office and what a great job she's doing. So I wanted to share that because those stories matter much to us. They are the reason why we do all that we do, and it's exciting to hear that. As far as activities, I know there's lots of details on the various activities for the division within the report, so I know you can refer to those, but I'll share just 1 or 2 more things. We held a student leadership training session with over 167 of our student leaders who met and talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion. More importantly, talked about what this community means to them and what their leadership means to them. And it was just a wonderful gathering. On October 26th and 27th, we will hold our DEI symposium here on this campus. The program will be a day and a half, and it will have both a faculty track and a student track, where we're meeting to have really important conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know that we're getting our students ready and prepared to work in a global world, and we want to make sure that we make the effort and are intentional about the work and the important conversations that we need to have. We will also in October be hosting, our presidents talked about our outreach to the community and our engagement and how important that is. Our campus will be hosting the Northern Consortium Native American Initiatives here on this campus in October, and that will be a half-day meeting. and really a time to just continue some of the work that we are already doing through our Native American Initiatives Office. So those are just a few highlights, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you.
Student affairs. Eric. By the way, Eric, I neglected to tell you, you did a great job with commencement.
Oh, thank
I
you.
know it was a team effort, but it was like the first commencement for like 90% of the people, not just the graduates.
And our president.
Right.
Thank you.
So-
It is a team effort, but we had a really successful, flawless event, so I
We did.
appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you for being in charge of the weather once again.
Not today, but I'm ready as the rain is pouring down on the windows here, so. Great, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. The report that you have from Student Affairs in your folder is largely a summary from the different departments in my area from last year, some statistics, some highlights. A couple things I wanted to mention, not only from the report, but now that we're a couple weeks into the semester. From athletics, I just wanted to highlight the academic achievements of our student athletes. We had 123 athletes on the SUNYAC honor roll. That's above 3.3 or above for last academic year. That's a remarkable achievement for our student athletes, balancing their classes and representing us on the various competitions. Campus Life did a tremendous job with our welcome weekend and opening over the last couple weeks. We had 735 unique or different students attend at least one event, over 500 attend between 4 and 8 events, and over 8,400 students checked in at the various activities. Some of those are repeats, but they did a tremendous job, the students and our folks there, to create a real sense of community and belonging for our students as they come back. In terms of the counseling center, you've already heard a little bit about the mental health funds. We're really grateful to get those. Some of the things we're looking at is some additional psychiatric care, some after-hours care, which would be really impactful for our students and retention in particular. Paces has done another little reorganization in some of their services. They've reopened a facility, Dexter's, which was largely a lunch facility, is now called the Bear Cave. And this is a new concept, reimagined what used to be in Lehman. It's the all-you-care-to-eat facility, so students can swipe in and eat whatever they want to eat there. The initial numbers and reception from students has been very positive. They kind of had a soft opening this summer, but that has been received very well, and we've received some good feedback from students. And the numbers are comparable to what they used to serve in Lehman, so that seems to have been really lacking in something that students wanted. Residence Life also had a great opening of the residence hall. It's one of the smoothest we've had. And I'm happy to report that we are likely going to settle about 100 students more than we budgeted for in the halls, and that's largely due to retention of continuing the returning students and more of them staying on campus. So that was a collective effort across campus for retention, and we've seen that in the residence halls. Wanted to mention a couple of things not on here, but that I'm involved in, and one of the coordinators of our food pantry on campus mentioned we do have almost $25,000 in some of those SUNY funds to help support our food pantry and food insecurity of our students, so that will go to great use. We had a great dedication this summer from the Prometheus alumni to recognize their fundraising efforts and to name the food pantry after the Prometheus alumni group, so thanks to Advancement for coordinating that. Had a tremendous turnout of Prometheus alum and brothers that were back and singing in the union, and they even raised more money when they were here for the pantry, so a great partnership that we have. And lastly, although, and I'm not surprised that President Smith didn't mention this because she's very humble, but we do have her inauguration coming up in the spring. I have, and along with Sherry and Advancement, we are co-chairing her inauguration committee, which will be Friday, April 19th. There will be a college council meeting in the morning, but I mention it now. I know some of you will leave and travel after that, but if you're able to stay for the inauguration ceremonies and events that day, that would be great. In line with President Smith's wishes and philosophy. This is going to be a campus celebration, a celebration of Potsdam, who we are, where we've come from, and the vision for the future. So we'll have more details about that. Sherry and I have already been meeting. We had our first committee meeting earlier this week, so we're excited to have that as a campus celebration in your spring. So again, please mark your calendars to stay if you're able to beyond the College Council meeting on that Friday for what promises to be a nice event. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Lots of exciting stuff
Lots of
there.
exciting things. Thank you.
Kylie.
Okay, I don't want to have my back to anybody, so I'm gonna go like this. And if you feel like my back is you, okay. I was like, I can.
Probably need to speak into the microphone, so don't worry.
I talk loud. Can you guys hear me? You good? Okay, perfect. So, we have a new executive board. Super happy about it. Talked about it last semester, but we started the new school year together. Been doing really great. I was really glad to welcome back Andrew Lawton. He was the treasurer the first year I was in SGA, so it's nice to see him come back, and he's a commuter student, and I love to have like different students represented, and it's good because he has so many good insights that I wouldn't think of because I've never commuted to this campus, so that's really awesome. We have a couple of initiatives. They're outlined in my report. Feel free to read them. A big one is helping retain our students. That's something we're really big on because we believe that student activities and student support from students are gonna keep people here. Something SGA has been doing is we do a lot of events, but we've also been doing more personalized events. So we've started a lunch hour in our office, and we welcome people to come eat lunch with us and like hang out with us and like get to know us as people. Because I didn't realize I could be scary when I sit in the SGA office. Like I sit on my computer and I drink my coffee, and I did not realize that I was so scary. But I guess I am. Like some kid like walked in the office and I was like, "Can I sit?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, come pull up a chair." Like I didn't realize I was intimidating, but I guess I am. But it's been really great. I love the new first years this year. They've been so involved. Like I haven't had to like pull them to events. They've come in like huge numbers, and a lot of events we don't have enough chairs, which is a good sign. Good sign. Love to see that. It's just been great getting to know all the new first years. I'm really big on that. And we already have new clubs that are popping up or old clubs that are coming back, which makes me so happy. Some that haven't been approved yet, but are starting to get back in the process. Ultimate Frisbee's trying to come back. We have an ASL club that is trying to start. I just got one for high heeled dance, which sounds really cool. And another is Student Art Association is trying to come back, which sounds really awesome because they have a lot of supplies from old club that used to exist. A really big goal of ours this semester is to increase the amount of students that come to our weekly assembly. We typically have, on average, about 40 students come, which when I talk to other SGAs, they're like, how do you handle 40 students? Because they typically have elected seats on their assembly, and we are a lot different. We don't have that, and it's a benefit to our campus because you can show up mid-semester, sit through 2 meetings, and then vote on your 3rd meeting. And I think that allows any student to feel welcome to come, and we don't block students out of our meetings, which a lot of schools do, and I think that is not the smartest idea. But we're trying to get our attendees up to about 55. That is our goal this year. We just feel like although we have a great representation of most of our students on campus, we're lacking in some areas, and we'd love for every student to feel like they have someone on our assembly that can speak for them and represents them, and that's a big goal we have. We participated in 4 Welcome Weekend activities. That was really awesome. We had an open house of our office, and Campus Life gave us they have like this big wheel, and we had students come in and spin the wheel, and we had a bunch of free stuff they could get just by spinning the wheel. And I didn't know students would be so excited about a tote bag, but they're like, look at my tote bag, like, this is so cute. And that was really good because a lot of students say that they don't know where our office is, so it really got students to our office and in our office and meeting us. I was able to speak at the new student welcome, and that always brings me so much joy. And go to the picnic afterwards and have students come up to me and like ask me about my Potsdam experience, which I always love sharing because I'm so excited to be here. And then the Bear Cave for Pacey's, just for students, are obsessed with it. Like I have friends and they're like, I don't need it to union anymore. I just need it to Bear Cave. And I mean, I personally, I live in a townhouse now, so I have a very small meal plan. When I do eat on campus, I do choose to eat at the Bear Cave. I mean, they have a salad bar. I didn't realize how much I missed a salad bar on campus until I didn't have it for 2 years. And like, it brings me so much joy to eat a salad, which is so funny to me. But yeah, no, thank you guys for your continued support. We had our first assembly meeting yesterday, which was super exciting. We try to give students the first week of classes to get adjusted. And we had about 40 students, so that's great. And just one thing that students were a little concerned about, but I think will be ironed out, is they just really want to be involved after September 19th and get their questions heard, because there's a lot of confusion surrounding it that we're trying to iron out, because, you know, everyone's a little panicked, like, my program's going to get cut and they're going to kick me out, and trying to explain to people that that's not going to happen and that they have our full support. Has been a little challenging because there are a lot of rumors, and you know, 19 and 20-year-olds, they listen to rumors. There's this thing called Yik Yak. Everyone's on Yik Yak. Not a big fan of Yik Yak, but yeah, no, students are happy to be here, and it's just so nice to see students go to events, like and want to be at events. And I went kayaking the other day, and there were a bunch of students who were there from the city who had never been kayaking before, so that was super awesome. And it's good to see people want to be involved on campus. And yeah, so we're happy. We're doing our thing, and it's nice to see everyone wearing SGA shirts. We gave them out for free, so free marketing for us. Free marketing for us. So yeah, we also sent individualized letters out to about 30 students who over the summer said they were interested in SGA. We put them in their mailboxes, and that was really fun for us because we got to just write cute little letters. So yeah, we're hoping to get more first-year students to our assembly. So that's all I got. If you got any questions for me, you're more than welcome to ask on Student Perspective, or you can just email me. It's there.
I don't know, I can think of you in many ways, Kylie, but scary is not one of them.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but I think once I started talking, they realized I wasn't that scary.
I don't know.
Just point of clarification, because you said that a student could hear if a program gets cut and they're going to be, you know, kicked out. That's not the case, right?
No,
So,
correct.
so
That's not correct.
yeah. So you have to hold on to the program for
4 years.
3 or 4 years.
So every student that enters the program will be allowed to finish at SUNY Potsdam.
Yeah, I just think that's important to
Absolutely.
put out. Long as that was,
That will be a big message.
yeah, as long as that was out,
Absolutely.
I thought that should be cleared up.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
I
that's,
appreciate
we were
that.
trying to smooth that out. I'm going to send out a follow-up email today just to make sure that we have it in writing that this is what's happening.
Yep, that's right.
Because sometimes it can get easy to get caught up at assembly and get confused. So.
And we do have, are in the process of scheduling some Q&A sessions just for students after the 19th as well. Thanks to,
Nip the rumors in the bud.
hopefully, yes.
Okay, thank you, Kylie. And now we're going to move to enrollment management. Terry Francis.
Sorry I stole your thunder, Terry.
That's all right. You're the president. You can do whatever you want.
Really?
You have witnesses.
I was going to say, can we get that in writing?
I'd like to start off by echoing Mr. O'Shaughnessy. Kylie, scary is certainly not the word I would use for you. Your energy is infectious. You actually have me feeling like I'd like to do some jumping jacks right up here right now. So thank you so much. My name is Terry Francis. It's the first time I've been at this meeting, so I'll do a very brief introduction. I am now officially the Director of Admissions and Enrollment Planning since July 1st of this year. I was the interim director for about a year and a half prior to that. But I have a long, long history with SUNY Potsdam. I've been here as an employee since 2006, after I worked for a few years in higher ed and admissions at Clarkson University across town. But more important than any of that stuff is I'm a SUNY Potsdam alum. So I completed my BA here, and I completed an MST because I was going to be an elementary school teacher at one time. But I got into higher ed and in 2001, and I love it. And I continue to love it, and you won't find a bigger supporter of this institution than me. So with that, yes, Dr. Smith stole a little bit of my thunder, but I wasn't going to go through a lot of numbers anyway. The numbers are in front of you. All I wanted to kind of say about that was they have been holding steady since the preliminary report that I put together on August 28th. They were 2519. Total at that point is 2,518 today, so one off from that. The comparison today versus this time last year, plus 3.11%, like Dr. Smith said, and that should hold at or above the 3% in terms of what we see for movement from this point forward. Ag drop week is done and all that type of stuff too. So some things are shaking out. So I'd just like to say nice job by the entire college community, especially everyone on the graduate side of the house. It's been amazing, you know, with the innovation, the creativity that's been in play there, to see those numbers grow and to really be meeting what obviously the market needed, the market demanded. And, you know, you look at just education in general, not to get off on a tangent, but there are so many jobs out there. And being able to do something like an MST program, a Master of Science in Teaching, if you don't have any background in education, but you want to become a teacher, and you can do that while working the job that you're working and so forth, and get into such a rewarding field. To me, that's pretty darn awesome. So that is the first increase in total enrollment in over 10 years. I think it really shows some incremental progress, but obviously there's a lot more to do. Our staff is geared up for that, as always ready to put in the work. I'm confident that continued collaboration, creativity, innovation, strategic planning is going to continue to drive more positive momentum. I'm very, very confident in that. As you can see in my report, our staff, just like I just kind of referenced a little bit, we're gearing up for fall events and fall recruitment travel. Really the week of September 18th, which isn't far away. That's when a lot of us, like I'll be out doing the SUNY, I would be representing SUNY Potsdam as part of the SUNY North Country Road Show. So 5 colleges get together and we go all over St. Lawrence and Clinton counties, which is a lot of fun. And we really have a captive audience at each school, which is cool to spread all the great stuff about SUNY Potsdam and the SUNY system at large, really. A couple other quick things. Open house dates, October 21st and November 4th. We have some SUNY initiative funds left over, so it's not coming out of budget of the campus. We have some left over for bus trips. So we're going to do a bus trip weekend. It's going to have 3 pickup points to go along with the November 4th open house. Those students are going to need to be admitted, and we'll work them through that process quickly. We yielded so well, as you can see in my report, off the bus trips that were tied together with Accepted Student Days last weekend. And we haven't really been able to do a bus trip weekend in the fall for quite some time, or as long as I can remember anyway. So I am very excited to use the rest of those funds to do that. We are working with people across campus on some new event offerings that could be up and running later this fall. I'm excited about staff consistency. We are a lean, mean machine. Our folks are awesome. Dr. Smith has been able to interact with them multiple times. They love her, and they're just a great group to work with and do anything you ask of them. So kudos to them. And really, my last point is everything is focused on yield, and I don't mean just accepted to deposited students. Every interaction we have, any interaction any of you have, anyone in this room, in general, with a prospective student and their family, is an opportunity to help them figure out and to start building that relationship and to realize that this could be the place for them. It's not just once they've applied and been admitted. If they visit here just because they're interested in SUNY Potsdam and they have a positive experience, then they will keep moving through what we call the enrollment funnel and so forth. So we're really going to be front-loading a lot of things into the fall that maybe were viewed as more spring yield activities, because that's a year-round phenomenon. And it's not only when someone's a senior in high school. It could be a 10th grader that comes to something on campus, a CYM camp or something like that. And that was always a pipeline, right, for Crane numbers and so forth. So it's awesome to have that back. As all admissions people, I like to talk, so I'm going to stop here, although I could keep going on and on. Our staff turned what I thought would be a 45-minute activity in our staff training the other day into about a 2-hour activity, but it was super productive. I say this all the time, and it's for you, it's for everyone. We're here to help, so please put us to work. Thank you very much. Any questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
When you're out recruiting,
Yeah.
and I understand the campus and campus life and all that stuff, but from an academic standpoint, what do you sell when you're selling academically? Is this, are we a liberal arts college? I mean, do we have a specialty that you go out? Are there students that look for a certain thing when you're out there talking to students?
It's really a lot of those things and more. It's a great question, and it's something that even is hard to educate any campus about on any given day. We are taught to be generalists about everything SUNY Potsdam. I'm fortunate that much of our staff are SUNY Potsdam alumni, so the whole teaching them about what SUNY Potsdam really is has already been done because they've lived those experiences. But we meet with all departments regularly, and we're only as good as the information that's provided from all the departments across campus. So we're out selling the SUNY Potsdam experience. And a lot of it comes to, like, when we're in a high school and we have 10 students in that room, we go around the room, we're not only there to talk, we need them to be engaged too. And we want to know what they're interested in, because then we can talk specifically about those programs of interest. We are schooled up on all of our academic program offerings. We don't just go out and sell one specific program. We can connect with alumni or faculty to try to get into classrooms where they're the expert about what that academic area is, and we're there in an admissions capacity, right? So we can team up on those types of things. So there's not one cookie cutter answer to that question, and there shouldn't be. We're out there trying to get as much exposure as possible or garner as much exposure as possible for SUNY Potsdam as an institution. The academic program part of it is such an important part. Students choose their college for so many reasons, but now, connected to a lot of the things that Dr. Smith said and so forth, they want to know if they're going to take on student loan debt potentially, or what they think they can go out and get with a high school diploma in terms of a salary and so forth. They want to know that what they're going to come here for is going to translate into that full tool belt of skills, knowledge, and experience that's going to get them that dream job, right? So hopefully that's not a convoluted answer to what you're asking, but we're going out to sell everything, but we have to be, and we talked a lot about it the other day, we always have to be able to read the room. We have to keep that person engaged and their family engaged, and we have to talk about what they're looking to get out of their SUNY Potsdam experience. That could be, with 5 different students, it could be 5 different conversations if they're all interested in something different. If they're interested in computer science, we've got some new flashy things to talk about this year with our cybersecurity and data analytics concentrations, which I think are going to put some marketing dollars into that and so forth. I think that's something that we can see immediate results off of. So we've got a very, very well-trained staff that we're always trying to train more and more, but we're going out, building relationships and having conversations that make sense for each individual that we're talking with. Does that answer your question?
Sort of.
If
That's-
you have a follow-up,
that's-
I'd be happy to try and.
I guess I'd have to listen to the students, but if you're out selling a certain program, I mean, like Clarkson will sell engineering. They're an engineering school, theoretically. So they'll market the engineering part. I just didn't know if Potsdam had one specific, other than Crane, where you can go out and market a specific program that we're better than anybody else in.
I think you're talking about a couple different things there, because I worked at Clarkson and we were trained up exactly the same way to sell everything. You can't just go out and sell engineering for Clarkson, and that's true today too. I think when you're talking marketing and recruitment, they're intertwined, but they're not completely the same. Marketing is a larger scale thing, and we take out marketing materials with us that sell parts of everything about SUNY Potsdam. Certainly we extol the virtues of the Crane School of Music. Obviously we're going to do that. We were founded on, and part of our bedrock are teacher education programs. and strong in the arts and performing arts and so forth. STEM, we have great STEM programs with so many hands-on opportunities to do real research at the undergraduate level. So,
See, right now you're selling, and that's fine. That's
Yeah,
what I wanted to
yeah,
hear. I mean,
yeah.
that's,
I can keep going
That's-
for like a half hour.
that's what you have to be out there doing. I mean, if there are specific programs that
Sure.
that we can market, then that's
Yeah.
going to hopefully draw some more students in.
Well, I like the point too, that you read the room. You find out from the families and the potential students what they're looking for.
That's right.
And then hit on that or
Yeah.
emphasize that.
In terms of true marketing, and not to speak on behalf of Mindy Thompson's team or anything, we work hand in hand on everything. I wish we had unlimited marketing dollars to really go out and put concerted effort into the things that the college and your group deems that we should be putting those resources into.
Steve's got 9 million.
He
so-
does have, well, he's got a check that says 9 million, we don't know what we're.
I'll make it 10.
And you will see, I think you'll see, last night with the football game and so forth, there were some nice ads on the TV and so forth. So we're doing a lot with the resources that we have there, and focusing in on some key areas that are designated, that's where some marketing funds maybe can go to. But I do think people get those things confused a little bit sometimes. To me, marketing is the higher level thing, and when we go out and have those individual conversations, we really do need to read that room and have those conversations. But yeah, the things that have the most history here and that really, a lot of people, oh yeah, that's what Crane School of Music is. Sure, we hear that all the time, and then we have that conversation, and they might not even be interested in music, right? But they might like music, they might be a talented musician, and they want to come here and study mathematics education and still be involved in music. Yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment that I'm really glad that you're going out into like the local counties. Like I'm from Clinton County, and somebody came to my high school and spoke about Potsdam, and I didn't even want to go for education at that time. And I was just sold on Potsdam because they were so passionate about Potsdam. And I sat in a room with them. There were like 10 other kids there, and like it was just so nice how I liked it a lot, and that's why I decided to at least step foot on this campus. And once I step foot on this campus, I got to go here. But I'm really happy that you're doing that this year. I don't know.
In our local region, we do it in multiple ways. I'm going out as the director and doing the road show because I'm a North Country boy. I went to St. Lawrence Central for high school. I used to work with all these guidance counselors because I was their person when I was at Clarkson. So I've had long-standing relationships with them. I think that's one way that I can get out there in our local area and really help sell SUNY Potsdam. But then we have a counselor that also covers our Region 1, our home base, that goes out there and visits those schools multiple other times throughout the year. So yeah, we have to take care of our home base because, I mean, they're an extension of this community, right? And we owe that to them, basically. Any other questions for me? All right, I hope I didn't take too much time, but thank you so much.
No, thanks, Terry, and I neglected to welcome you to your first council meeting officially.
Oh, thank you.
But you've been around, and I just don't think of you as a brand-new person.
No, I appreciate it.
Okay, Melissa. Now, how many hats do you wear?
I'll say 2. Good morning. So I wanted to start by highlighting how hard our physical plant and facilities team has worked this summer. There's quite a list here of what they've accomplished, but some of the things to highlight, we've done quite a bit of paving on our roads this summer and repairing our catch basins. All the pavers out front of the Student Union have been replaced. They're beautiful. All 4 quad tower ceilings were replaced in the academic quad. The elevator was repaired in the Union.
Thank God.
That was
No, that's a big one.
Yes.
And a couple classrooms or rooms in Crane have been updated to meet some of their changing needs. We also replaced our DMS head-in, which is located in University Police. That is what controls all of our fire alarm systems. So this was a huge upgrade for us this summer. Ongoing projects, very similar to my last update. Carson Hall, as you probably noticed, is still under renovation. That's still scheduled to be completed next year. Our accessibility study is still ongoing. That is for the academic quad to make our campus obviously more accessible. And then the Satterley Clock Tower renovation is scheduled for after commencement of 2024. A couple really awesome upcoming projects that are not underway yet, but we have major renovations scheduled for next year in Maxey Hall. So that includes the field house, the gym, the pool ceiling, and upgrades to the mechanical systems. And we are going to be installing an elevator in Flag Hall, which is going to be between Satterley and Flag, and that will make those buildings accessible, because right now individuals actually have to go outside to access Flag in between. Human Resources hosted new faculty and staff orientation on August 23rd. We were very happy to have 26 individuals attend, and we were able to be in person, which was wonderful. We also hosted our annual employee recognition event on June 13th. It was a beautiful day. It was well attended. We recognized 2 Chancellor's Award winners, 13 President's Award winners, and we had 24 retirees. And then I just wanted to highlight for environmental health and safety, we have 2 employees from that department who are now instructors for the American Red Cross Basic Life Support. So this means they can provide various different trainings to our campus community and our students. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Not, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Melissa. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to his very first council meeting, Dr. Greg Gardner, who is the brand-new Faculty Senate Chair. And while we miss Blair and his colorful shirts on Fridays, hopefully you'll take up the challenge, Greg.
I'll do my best.
Maybe like a Hawaiian tie.
Really
Yeah.
a colorful shirt. This is me. This is like colorful. Anyway, but I will also tell you, I also miss Blair Lindor. I have learned how much I don't know and what an overwhelming amount of things I have to learn to do this job. And I can only say that Blair made it look way too easy. And I owe a thanks to many, many people across the campus, including many people in this room, for your patience as I work through all my rookie mistakes. So in terms of my first report, probably the most, to me, exciting thing in the Faculty Senate this term is going to be our opportunities to work on the strategic planning initiative. I appreciate President Smith and Provost Hersker's integration and creation of opportunities for Faculty Senate as well as individual faculty members to be involved. And most of that will be through our Goals and Planning Committee. They met this morning, Alan. I think I'll have the names I owe you pretty quickly. So we're really looking forward to that. There's a number of important but fairly routine policy sorts of things we'll take up this term. I'll talk about them if you want. Otherwise, the one I want to mention, we are looking at adding some more structure and tools to, especially with our Business Affairs Committee, in terms of how we evaluate program proposals. Hopefully, we need to get to a process that's a little bit more structured and a little bit more consistent and also runs more efficiently. And so we're getting some volunteer help on that with my colleagues in the accounting and finance areas within the business department who kind of teach that stuff for a living. So hopefully that lets us be crisper there. The other thing I thought I'd mention, just in case nobody knows about it, 2 years ago, Faculty Senate and the administration approved a dual degree program with the Kiev National Economics University. This term, the first 3 students in that program are now full-time students with SUNY Potsdam. They're online this term, which is the model for the program, and we expect them face-to-face on our campus in the spring. And every one of them are tremendously excited. We didn't know when we rolled out that program that we would deal with a war and 5 million displaced people, refugees inside Ukraine. This has only been possible because of a number of offices on campus. Again, some of them here, Terry, the foundation, lots of people have been very, very flexible, and we've overcome a bunch of problems. I think from the students' comments that we are probably the single brightest thing in their life and their family's life right now. So deeply, deeply proud. And that's my story, and unless there are questions, I'm sticking to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. And last but certainly not least, David Davin. How's advancement going?
Good. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Feels like afternoon already. David Davin, Vice President for Advancement. The first thing I want to report is I have some good news for individuals who may owe money on their taxes to New York State, which is not a string of words you often hear put together. So we could use your help spreading the word. The New York State Tax Credit Program has been renewed again this year for those individuals who expect to have a commitment to pay New York State of $10,000 or more. They can make a donation to SUNY Potsdam and get an 85% tax credit from New York State. So that's a great program. It's SUNY-wide. There is a total cap of $10 million. So just more important to get people's commitments earlier. We've done very well with this program for the last 2 years that it's run, and we would love your help in spreading the word. So if you happen to know anyone that may benefit from this type of program, please let them know. Put them in touch with me, and I have some postcards that I'll hand to you at the end of today's meeting. Other news in advancement is that we are facilitating the introduction of our new president in regions leading up to the inauguration that you heard Eric talk about. So we're going to be starting today. Suzanne and Brett are going to be getting in the car. We're heading to the Rochester area. Later this month we'll be in central New York, and we have other events tentatively planned in Albany, Chicago, Boston, among others. Again, all leading up to the inauguration in April. We'll continue to travel after that, but we really want our alumni and supporters of the college in the regions to not feel left out as we start unveiling our new president. And we want them to hear directly from her, because as you all have seen, she's got a powerful vision for where our college is going, and it just continues to get ramped up, and we want everyone to hear that as much as possible face to face. The foundation was pleased to accept $2.6 million in gifts last fiscal year, showing the continued strength of our fundraising and support from our alumni and donors. That continues to rank us as the very top in all of the SUNY schools when you divide the donations we get by the number of alumni. So the fundraising we get continues to be top tier. It just shows the love and passion, commitment that donors and other supporters have for SUNY Potsdam. We had a great reunion with over 600 alumni and friends. It was the most since the COVID era, so we continue to build back up from that. And then during reunion, you heard about the Prometheus Alumni Food Pantry dedication. We also were proud to dedicate the James Pietrzak Percussion Studio and the Margot and Scott E. Goodman Percussion Alley. And with that, that's a great segue. You've gotten to see Sherry Paradis a lot the last few meetings because we've been doing so many namings, and I'm going to let her talk about the other names we have, but first I'll ask if there's any questions. Thank you. Sherry.
Good morning. Yes, when I show up, it means that we had some gifts that came to the campus, and so we're pleased to be able to bring some naming opportunities to you for your consideration. The first one you have in front of you is the Ferrantello Falcon Lab, and that comes to us from an alumna from the class of '75. She works for CrowdStrike. You may have heard of the cybersecurity company, global organization. And so her supervisor actually came to her. Private industry is very different than higher ed, and particularly state higher ed. Her supervisor came to her and said, you know, you've done so well and I want to do something for you. Can I give you a vacation? Can I buy you a car? And she said, you've already done those things. What you can do for me is help me establish a scholarship at my alma mater for computer science students. And so her colleagues all chipped in, her supervisor, and we kept receiving all these checks for $5,000, $10,000, and that all added up to over $200,000. And so the minimum to name a scholarship at Potsdam is $25,000, so they exceeded that. And so she had some extra money, so we were able to outfit some computer labs, or a computer lab for the computer science department. And she would like to name the lab, so that was what was reported today. Take any questions? I know that we don't generally read the resolutions, but you do have that in front of you.
Is there a motion?
You're looking at me, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. So the motion's been made and seconded for the Ferrantello Falcon Lab. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, hearing none, carried unanimously.
So our hope is that Phyllis will be joining us in November, on November 3rd. She'll be on campus for the first time in many years. And we're working with Shiho and the department to coordinate some special activities with students. So we will be receiving an invitation for that dedication. So Jim will ask you to save the date. The next resolution for your consideration is for the Joy Rehearsal Room, and the donors for that are not new donors to Potsdam. Will can attest to that, and I know that Suzanne and David met with them as well. They are not new donors to Potsdam. They have another endowment that provides opportunities for guest artists to come to Potsdam. This new gift came at a time they had already honored Chet, the spouse. They had honored him and his name at Clarkson, and they felt that this was time to do something permanent at Potsdam to honor the Anthony side of their relationship. And so in the end, they have decided to contribute dollars to Potsdam to name a rehearsal room, one of the newly renovated rehearsal rooms in Crane. And she would like to name it the Joy Rehearsal Room. That's before you today.
Move it.
Second.
The motion's been made by Rich and seconded by Jeff. Any discussion?
See how easy we are.
You are. This is good stuff. Okay.
Aye.
Yeah. We're ready.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none,
Aye.
carried
Aye.
unanimously.
Beautiful. Thank you. And we do not have a dedication date for that. They were just here yesterday, but they knew that we were missing this meeting by a day, but they did deliver the first part of their gift and wrote the check with Suzanne
Wow.
yesterday.
Yes.
SUNY dictates that before we put a name on a space, we have to have half the gift in hand, so they provided that readily yesterday. I hope to be in front of you again soon, as Melissa shared, some of the spaces on campus are getting refreshed. And so donors love refreshed, beautiful spaces, so I hope to be back soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry. Is there any old business to come before the council? No age-related jokes, please. Hearing none. Any new business? Hearing none, I will remind you that our next council meeting is on November 17th. A reminder that September 19th is the speech and the strategic planning and the rolling out, beginning of the process. And that we will also, you want to note, on April 19th is a council meeting followed by the president's inauguration. So you might want to mark that on your calendar and hold it so that you'll be able to be here beyond noon so we can roll the inauguration out.
Thank you.
Okay. Is any further business? Is there a motion to,
I move to adjourn this meeting.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Moved by Richard, seconded by Jeff. Any discussion? Anybody want to just stay? All right.
I didn't bring a rain jacket.
What's the Potsdam website to?
If you go to the, if you go to the president's
Momentarily.
website,
I'm about to
you'll
drive
be
to
able to
Vermont.
see a
I wanna
link
drive